This month, I've been thinking about my parents. They met on July 1st, 1943, and less than 3 weeks later, on July 18th, they were married. Now, I'm certainly not recommending that everybody meet somebody today and marry them before the end of the month, but if my parents were still living, they could be celebrating their 83rd wedding anniversary this month. That causes me to wonder, what can two people really know about each other after only 17 days? They may have known enough to make a decision, but they could not have known everything that a decision would really require. They could not have anticipated every hardship, every disappointment, every disagreement, or every change that the years would bring. They made their vows once, but they had to learn how to live those vows one day at a time. That brings to mind the story of Israel in the wilderness. The people were hungry, they were uncertain, and worried about whether they would have enough to survive. And God said to Moses in Exodus 16:4, I'm going to rain bread from heaven for you, and each day the people shall go out and gather enough for that day. God provided manna, but only enough for that day. The people wanted security for the future. God gave them provision for the present. Every morning they had to trust that God would meet them as he did yesterday and meet them again today. Perhaps that is how my parents built their marriage. They did not receive 80 years' worth of patience on their wedding day. They were required to gather patience one day at a time. They did not receive a lifetime supply of forgiveness. They had to gather enough forgiveness for each offense and each misunderstanding. They had to gather enough courage for each hardship, enough faith for each uncertainty, and enough love to choose one another once more. What sustained us and them is more than a decision made in 17 days. It is a grace gathered over a lifetime. And that lesson reaches far beyond marriage. We often want God to give us enough strength for the next 10 years. We want the entire plan, the complete answer, and a guarantee that everything will work out. But God often gives us what we need for this day. You may not have enough strength to carry tomorrow's burden, but tomorrow's burden is not yet yours to carry. You may not know how you will handle what might happen next month, but God has placed some manna within your reach today. A person who will listen, a word that encourages you, an opportunity to rest, enough wisdom to make the next decision, or enough courage to take the next step. Do not overlook today's provision because you are worrying about tomorrow. My parents made their vows once on July 18th, 1943, but they had to live those vows every morning afterward. That is how most enduring things are built. We make the most commitment we can in the moment, but we gather the grace to keep it one day at a time. So here's today's question. What has God provided for you today that you may be overlooking because you are worried about tomorrow? Gather today's manna, receive today's grace, and trust that when tomorrow comes, God will meet you there. Would you pray with me? God, give us the grace sufficient for this day. Teach us to recognize your provision, honor today's commitments, and trust you for tomorrow. Amen.